5 minutes. The burden of proof is on the shoulders of the Prime Minister and your government. Why? It's because you've been very nonchalant, at least on 3 occasions. The Prime Minister has refused to listen to the recommendations asking to publish documents or to provide information to MPs. And then secondly, there were lots of different attempts to refuse to answer questions. And then there was the nomination of a special rapporteur that really didn't work, and nobody had confidence in that. And now with Justice Ogg and with the preliminary report, we were quite right in not showing confidence and putting trust in the special rapporteur. And it seems that the most appropriate documents apparently are going to be handed over to Justice Ogg according to the National Security Advisor. But by chance, the most relevant documents are in fact the documents that were covered by leaks by Mr. Bob Fife. So the 4 cabinet memoranda were the memoranda that appeared in the press. So, Minister, do the documents have to be leaked to the press so that they then become relevant for the Ogg Commission? First of all, Chair, and my friend Mr. Berthold, the answer is no, but I'd like to correct once again something, and Madame Drouin perhaps would like to add something. The leaks that we've seen did not refer to the 4 cabinet documents that we handed over to the Commission. So that really is a mistake. No, it's not a mistake. 4 other documents. There are other documents that should have been handed over, but were not handed over to Justice Ogg. How many documents have been handed over to her, and how many have not been handed over? You've been avoiding that question from the outset, and I'd like to cite Madame Drouin. She said, unfortunately, with the leaks, this has allowed the Commission to be very specific in its requests. So Justice Ogg has very specific documentation requests, and on the other hand, we're hearing that Justice Ogg does not have access to all documents. So, Minister Leblanc, why is your government so opaque and is not wanting to play this game of transparency to restore Canadians' confidence in the system? Response, Mr. Chair, I see that our colleagues are bursting out laughing with that comment from Mr. Berthold. It was a Liberal colleague who was laughing, says Mr. Berthold. He knows very well, Mr. Chair, that we've acted in good faith and we've been very transparent with the Ogg Commission. But, Chair, do you see the type of confusion that creeps in here? Mr. Berthold has asserted that these were cabinet documents that appeared in the press. In fact, they were documents from the security agencies that were covered by these leaks. And 46,000 documents of this type have already been handed over to the Ogg Commission. So there's a great deal of confusion, it seems, between the highly classified intel documents and, on the other hand, a few documents, as Mr. Harper already maintained as well during his time in government, that they're covered by cabinet confidence. Minister, I'll give the floor to Mr. Berthold. Thank you very much. So it's not time to talk about Mr. Harper. We're talking about you. We're talking about your government that from the outset has done everything it can to stop shedding light on foreign interference and has been covering up names and reporting and is not taking action. And you're saying that these are documents that were not for the cabinet, but unfortunately the national security agencies wanted these documents to be read by the cabinet, Mr. Leblanc. That's where the confusion started. How can we trust the Liberals currently with that? We want to have confidence in Justice Ogg's report. So why are you refusing to give her access to all of the documents that she is requesting? Response, Mr. Chair, that's another example of this type of confusion. Our colleague, Mr. Berthold, is saying camouflaging, covering up the names, but following criminal legislation kind of doesn't mean that we're exactly camouflaging names. And then he refers to a parliamentary report. The Conservatives voted against the creation of the National Security Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians. The former government didn't set up any measures to bring about transparency, as we have seen right away in this very conversation today. And then to round off, Chair, I have full confidence in the work undertaken by Justice Ogg, and I have full confidence that her report is going to shed light and restore confidence for Canadians and give possible solutions to the government, and I hope also to the Parliament, to further reinforce our measures to counter foreign interference, as we've done since we came into power. Mr. Berthold, just a few seconds left. Mr. Berthold, just to specify something. The national report from NCICOP, which was published on the 5th of June, clearly stated that the Prime Minister and the government have withheld 1,000 documents from the committee by saying, or by using in an appropriate way, cabinet confidences to avoid to render public this information. That's exactly what NCICOP said. And Mr. Leblanc, the confusion is on your side. I think with everything we've seen over the last 2 or 3 years in terms of foreign interference, I think it's time to tidy up things and fully collaborate with the justice. If you want to have give an answer, Madame Drouin, quickly. Madame Drouin, we're certainly not talking about 1,000 cabinet memoranda. As senior officials, when we draw up a memorandum for the cabinet, there are several emails that are related to that. There's lots of different versions related to this memorandum to cabinet. There may be speaking points developed for respective ministers for the purposes of the cabinet discussion. So one file within the cabinet can generate an incredible panoply of various documents. So I'm very comfortable in affirming to you that we're not talking about 1,000 cabinet files as such. I'm extremely comfortable in saying that. And I'd like to repeat, please, quickly, Madame Drouin, in the Commission of Public Inquiry, there will be no intelligence documents from our security agencies have been withheld from the Commission. They have everything that they've asked for in terms of the work undertaken by our 2 main agencies. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Berthold. Thank you, Madame Drouin. Mr. Gerritsen.
Speaker for this round. 5 minutes to you.
Thank you, and thank you to both Minister LeBlanc and Madame Drouin for being here today and answering these questions. I think the frustration that you're seeing from across the table from my Conservative colleagues comes from the fact that they're not able to get you to help feed their narrative of secrecy.